Nigga, lay it down.
You can turn it on. You see those specific kind of lines that pop up between the green and the red. It's just like we said, it's helium. Remember, that's how it was discovered, helium. We didn't know we had helium here. It was a new element. It was discovered that way. And then over there in the red, between the green and the red, is iron. Iron, a really hot iron, telling us that, hey, this atmosphere is really hot. And then a little bit over, it's another line, red. Well, what is that? Well, it's hydrogen. Well, so even though it's really hot up there and only 1 in a million or 10 of million particles are neutral, it's still visible in that one shot that you saw. So Robert, back to you here, back on Earth. What did you feel like? How did you see this occur?
Yeah, so it was fascinating to watch actually the shadow or the path of totality underneath us. We're at 35,000 feet, and you could see at totality, you could actually see the darkness down on the ground, and you could look north and south and see where it wasn't completely dark. And as we kept going, you could just watch that darkness move. It was almost like a thunderstorm moving across the plains, but it was all the darkness, and it was just stunning to me to see that. So really, really good stuff, and I wasn't expecting that. And of course, the eclipse itself was beautiful, but seeing what happened down on the ground level of Earth from 35,000 feet was amazing. I just got to tell you, the team on this plane and the team all the way around this country is just doing a fantastic job. I wish you could have seen the folks here working to make sure we got the data that Thomas showed. Some fantastic images we've already looked at that I can't wait to share with everybody and for everybody to see. But really exciting to watch this team work, and the pilots did a great job. We had a little bit of a challenge right at the time of when we needed to be best, but they did a great job recovering from that. And then kept us on path all the way through. So anyway, so thank you guys. Remember to put your glasses on for those of you who hadn't seen it yet, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's fantastic stuff. And if you just tuned in here, you're watching Through the Eyes of NASA television. We have the best views of the solar eclipse today and coming later in the show. You don't want to miss this, the International Space Station live. Now, next up, let's visit a working farm at Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. Agricultural observations and solar eclipse viewing activities are underway, including high-altitude balloon launches and painting cows.
Painting cows? What?
Okay, all right. So now, let's go to the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center. Chris Blair standing by.
Humans are naturally excited about the solar eclipse, but one thing we've learned on this working agricultural farm is that animals can as well. But more on that in a moment, as right now we're getting ready to do a live scientific balloon launch, and joining us to tell us more is Dominic Critchlow from Austin Peay State University. Thanks for joining us, we appreciate it. So tell the crowd and our audience a little bit about the scientific payload you have on board.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Today we're flying some still image equipment, and we're going to be taking images of the ground in different wavelengths. And we're also flying live streaming equipment, so we can live stream the eclipse looking downwards and looking around and at 100,000 feet, which is higher than any plane has ever gone. We're also flying some biological samples with NASA Ames and then our trackers so we can have a successful recovery.
Okay, they just released your balloon, so let's talk about the NASA science and the biological samples. Explain more.
So NASA Ames has contacted us and all of the other teams that are going to be doing launches today across the whole path of the eclipse. We're going to all have a little chip of biological samples on there that are going to go up in the stratosphere, which is a similar atmosphere as we would see on the Martian surface. So we're doing some Martian studies, which is really interesting and cool.
We are very excited about that. And so also, how many balloon releases are you planning on doing this today or this weekend?
So all across the U.S., we have about 50 teams that are launching in the path of the eclipse so that we can have a full coverage of the stream. And on the site today, we have 3 launches from 3 different universities, and we're just really excited to be here and hopefully all successful launches.
All right, so finally, these balloons do go up and they come back down. And so what's some advice if anyone finds one of these payloads out and about across the country? What's a tip you would tell them?
If you find it, leave it there. maybe take a picture because it's kind of cool to see something land in your backyard from research. And please don't touch it. We'll be there soon to pick it up. If you have to move it, let us know, and we'll just be there to recover it.
Awesome. Thanks. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, so yesterday we had a chance to catch up with some serious students, albeit a little younger, but serious about doing real-world science nonetheless. And here to tell us more is my good friend and colleague, Mitzi Adams from NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Mitzi, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. So tell us about the science that these high school students are working on.
Well, the students are actually working on some atmospheric science experiments. They're doing animal study experiments, and they're helping us observe the sun in various wavelengths of light.
And these students aren't just from the Clarksville area. I understand they're all around the country, if not perhaps the globe.
The students are from the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, and yes, they are from all around the globe. And they're actually from the Inspire project as well. They're participating in VLF radio noise experiments, and those folks are from Washington, D.C.
All right, excellent. So you mentioned the Space and Rocket Center, Space Camp. That's the official visitor center for NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Feel free, if you're in northern Alabama, to come and see us. They do a great job of representing a past, future, and present history of NASA. So any parting words?
Well, you know, in the words of Frank Reynolds, I'd like for us to remember for the next American eclipse in 2024, let the shadow of the moon fall on an earth at peace.
Very poetically done. We appreciate it. All right, so up next is, as promised, our Animal Lovers segment. And so here on the agricultural farm, students are studying a really cool STEM field. So it's conservation management, it's veterinary medicine, animal biology, and so they're interested in animal behavior. And so joining us is Dr. Donald Sudbrink, head of the Ag Department here at Austin Peay State University. And so it's not cow tipping, it's cow painting, correct?
Yes, we had to paint the cows that are in this study to see what sort of things that they would do so we could record the individual animals so we could see what behaviors that they were exhibiting.
So we saw the cows, and the students were involved with that Mitzi just spoke about. And we're also talking about cricket behavior and cricket observations.
Yeah, yes. Well, we're also talking about crickets. I'm an entomologist by training, and crickets generally chirp at night. So we're going to get a chance to see a series of isolated males and see what they do when the sun goes out.
Okay, excellent. Glad you all are doing this kind of observational research. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So, and speaking of time, it's almost time for us, everyone here at Austin Peay State University, to actually watch the solar eclipse. So let's go back live for continuing coverage of NASA's eclipse across America from Charleston.
Okay, so Yadi, I wonder if the milk tastes better when you paint the cows.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right, let's go to social media. We've been in the show here, and I know it's a buzz. So over to John Yurbrick for social media update.
Yeah, last time I looked, Dwayne, there were 2.1 million people looking online on our website, on our 1.2 on our live stream. So it was a huge conversation, and Solar Eclipse 2017 is still trending #1 on Twitter. So it's been huge. Can we go to the first slide here that I've got up? This right here is an amazing photo. Sometimes they say you have to be at the right place at the right time. This is taken by one of our NASA photographers, Bill Ingalls, out in Washington. And he captured, it's hard to see here in this pic, but he captured the International Space Station transiting the sun during the partial eclipse there in Washington. Pretty amazing. You kind of have to look closely. We'll also be putting these images up online if you want to see them. But one of those little dots there is the International Space Station traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. Here's another one from our photographer in Wyoming. Same concept, capture the space station. We knew exactly when the space station was going to be flying, what its orbit was, and when it was going to cross the sun. And look here, it's just an amazing sight. I'm really proud of our photographer for getting these shots and proactively trying to get something that no one else probably has and thinking through and getting this great image. So let's take a few questions from social media. I want to remind our viewers at home that you can ask questions to us here on the set and on social media with the hashtag Eclipse 2017. So why don't we bring it back here to the stage. First question is from Twitter. What if we wear sunglasses instead of eclipse glasses? Will we actually be able to see the eclipse? The sunglasses help. Does it give you any sort of protection?
No, that's definitely a no-no. You should not wear sunglasses, normal sunglasses. Always wear the actual sunglasses that are made for solar viewing, like the ones that I'm having here right now in my hand. And if you don't have the sunglasses, you never look directly at the sun. You look like you do an indirect projection of that eclipse. Never look at the sun without the proper safety.
So another question here comes from Deborah from Facebook. So the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and the Earth rotates in clockwise motion. Please explain how it starts in the west and ends in the east.
Well, so the Earth is rotating from west to east, but actually the moon is moving faster, about 3,400 miles an hour, casting a shadow down on the Earth, which is rotating at about 1,700 miles an hour. And that actually means that the shadow is moving from west to east across the Earth at about somewhere between 1,200 to 1,800 miles per hour, depending on where you are on the Earth.
Okay, great. We have another one. I think we have time for another one. Tina from Facebook's asked, if I place a lens from the eclipse viewing glasses over a viewfinder on my iPad, could I successfully video the eclipse, or would it fry my camera?
Yeah, you can actually look with the iPad or your phone to the eclipse. The only thing is, you have to be very careful not to look at it with your own eyes without the actual safety glasses. Never look at it through any lens.
Okay. This is Mickey from Facebook. Hey, NASA, can the International Space Station see the shadow of the moon crossing America from space? Do they have that view when they're looking from space?
They do, and that's what we're hoping to see from them. Yes.
Excellent. So, John, we're going to come back to you. So I think we're going to go back to Sean, our meteorologist. Let's learn more about how NASA is studying the Earth and Sun relationship during this eclipse. Sean, can you tell us more about that?
Right, thanks, Dwayne. So during the eclipse, the moon acts like a giant cloud as it passes over areas in the path of totality, casting a large shadow on Earth's surface. Now, the footage you're seeing right now shows a solar eclipse that occurred in March of 2016 over Indonesia. That experience helped us determine how best to study today's eclipse. These images were taken by NASA's EPIC instrument aboard NOAA's Deep Space Climate Observatory, or DISCOVER. It's just one of the instruments we'll be using today to study the eclipse as we monitor changes in Earth's energy balance. Scientists have made extensive atmospheric measurements during eclipses before, but this is the first opportunity to collect coordinated data from both the ground and from a spacecraft that observes the entire sunlit Earth during an eclipse. Dwayne, back to you.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, so now we have a special guest with us today, the Associate Administrator for NASA's Office of Communication, Jinray Wong. Jinray, welcome.
Dwayne, thank you. So happy to be here.
Oh, it's an exciting day. I'm glad you could join the team here. And our next location you are pretty familiar with, I'm sure.
I'm very blessed that I do know something about the great state of Nebraska. I've actually lived there for the last decade, and I have friends and family who are watching there from the path of totality. I have to tell you, this is by far the biggest thing that's happened in Nebraska as of recent. It's absolutely fabulous. I have had friends from high school and college calling me up, Facebook messaging me, asking where they can get their glasses, where they should be viewing from. So it's just a really exciting day for everyone who's watching along the path of totality. It's also a really exciting day for NASA. And in fact, this gives us an opportunity to look forward as well. And we have a future study that we are going to be doing to study the sun. NASA is going to launch a new spacecraft next year, the Parker Solar Probe, and it will fly directly into the solar atmosphere. The mission will provide first-of-its-kind data. And for more information on this future mission, let's go to Beatrice, Nebraska, where Vince Whitfield from NASA's Langley Research Center is standing by. He's at Homestead National Monument, where the National Park Service has coordinated an eclipse viewing. Vince?
And just in, I think we're having, Vince is going to come up shortly, Jinray, so we're going to go back with an image, but we will be doing Nebraska as soon as we can. So a shout out to the great state.
Thank you. Shot.
Okay, folks, Jody and Alex, this is a different view here. What are we seeing, Alex?
Well, so we're looking at a different wavelength of visible light. It's called calcium K. So this is light that's produced by excited calcium. And this is showing us the sun as the moon is moving over it. And in fact, if you look over to the left, on the edge of the sun, you actually see sunspots.
A sunspot, yeah.
And these are regions that heliophysicists like myself and Jari are most interested in, because that's where solar explosions originate from. In fact, the magnetic fields that come up into the corona that we see during the total solar eclipse originate from those sunspots.
Actually, this sunspot had a solar flare yesterday.
Right, and I believe this is coming from Carbondale. So that's now it's why is it purple? Is that what's the color?
That's actually the light and the color of the light in the filter. The color is a bluish light, and so it comes out as a purple color. But it is a type of visible light, and it's one we look at quite often from both space and the ground and look in the sun.
Now I see some black thingies, look like a little river. You see it over there near the corner on the left?
Yeah, that's the sunspot.
Now what's a sunspot? Just for our audience here.
Those are where most of the magnetic energy is actually released.
Right, so those are regions of super intense magnetic field, 1,000 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field, and those have lots of energy and they drive space weather.
Okay, I think that's why we didn't get the Nebraska feed right now. Those things cause that, I think, right?
That's right. We're getting a little glitch.
Hopefully we get Nebraska. Okay, Sean, we're going back over to you. Talk about moon shattering.
That's right, Dwayne. We've got some really incredible imagery for you. This is again from the GOES-16 weather satellite just launched last year by NASA for our friends at NOAA. And what you're seeing in the western portion of this image is actually the moon's shadow being cast over parts of the path of totality. And of course, you see the cloud cover across the U.S. as well. And as I was telling you earlier, it's actually looking pretty good for most of the western parts of the U.S. that are in the path of totality. Not so good for maybe parts of the central U.S. Where we've got some thunderstorm activity developing and expected to develop later today, this afternoon, for places like Nebraska, parts of Nebraska and Missouri and northern Illinois, so maybe north of Carbondale, and then gets better again as you see in terms of cloud cover as we move further east toward Charleston here. But here in Charleston, we still have some breaks in the cloud. Where the sun is, it's still obscured, but we are able to actually see some of the partial eclipse here in Charleston through some of the breaks in cloud. But again, really wanted to show you guys that imagery from GOES-16 satellite from NOAA showing you the moon's shadow actually being cast over parts of the western United States right now. With that, Dwayne, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thanks, Sean. Now, as a reminder, our broadcast is tracking the total solar eclipse as it crosses the United States. It's moving along a path of totality. That's a 70-mile wide path sweeping across the entire nation. Over 12 million people live inside the path of totality. Plus, it's estimated that close to 7 million people have traveled to cities within the path of totality. I know that today is truly a day of celebration as people gather in cities and festivals to view today's celestial event. So let's get into the cultural impact here, guys. Alex, what's your take on the cultural impact of these eclipses?
Well, you know, this is really such a fantastic opportunity to connect the nation and, in fact, the world with one of nature's most amazing celestial events. And this is something that we, as working at NASA, are really excited to be able to share. And in fact, we've even worked with some of our colleagues in other parts like the U.S. Postal Service.
Yes, the U.S. Postal Service actually created a special stamp for this event.
Right. So what I want to do, let's talk about the stamp.
Sure.
But generate toss in Nebraska. The sunspots are gone. So let's go to Nebraska. Vince Whitfield, are you there?
Hi, we're at the Homestead National Monument of America. This is a great location to watch the eclipse, and we've staked out a good spot here on the prairie. Even though the weather isn't cooperating, this is still an excellent event. We're also very prepared. Please make sure to use your protective glasses when viewing the eclipse wherever you are. You can cause serious damage to your eyes if you don't take precautions while watching. And there are a lot of people watching. As you can tell, the festivities, just like the eclipse, are in full swing. I'm joined by Chief Park Ranger Susan Cook.
Hey Vince, how are you?
Great, Susan. Thanks for joining me today. Please tell us about this amazing place and what's going on behind us.
Well, we are at Homestead National Monument of America. We are a national park site dedicated to telling the story of homesteading. 30 states, 4 million people, 10% of the United States was homesteaded. The head of a household, anybody could own land as long as you could be a U.S. citizen. You got 160 acres. It's how we settled the West. We built our democracy, we built our economy, settling the West through this law.
That is just so interesting. Now, I understand the Mayan calendar followed the solar eclipse calendar closely. Is that correct?
It did. The ancient Mayan used several different calendars to organize their secular and spiritual lives. Many of these calendars had strong roots in the motions of celestial objects, especially the sun and the moon. And the Hab calendar is a solar calendar of 365 days, subdivided into 18 months of 20 days, plus 1 month of 5 days. Another calendar is a Zolkin, made of 260 days, subdivided into 13 months of 20 days. This calendar also has a resonance with eclipses, which occur about every 173 days. Every 3 sequences of eclipses aligns every 2 cycles of the Zolkin. Who could keep track of that, frankly?
It's just amazing. Now, as a chief park ranger, I have to congratulate you. This is a fantastic venue. Tell us about some of the activities you have planned.
Well, actually, right now you can feel it getting darker, but we have stage performances going on. We have many NASA scientists. You can learn about planetary defense, how we defend our world. You have NASA scientists doing other things. We have Native Americans. We have a Mayan Calendar Sky program. We have folk music. We have all sorts of fiddle music.
Lots going on.
Lots of things. Balloon launches. So there's things all around us. It's really exciting and a lot of fun.
Gotta say, the amount going on here, Susan, is incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. And we're lucky enough to be joined by a real NASA scientist. Let me introduce you to Dr. Nikki Fox.
Hi Vince, how are you today?
Great, Nikki. Thanks for joining us. Nikki is a space weather expert and a mission project scientist on NASA's Parker Solar Probe program. Thanks so much for joining us, Nikki. Today is a great day for you. Tell us why.
Well, today I'm really excited. This is my first ever solar eclipse, and it's the only chance that we can see the corona with our naked eye. And I'm particularly excited because I'm working on NASA's Parker Solar Probe mission, and we are going to fly into the corona. So if the clouds part here, you'll be able to see where our mission is flying.
That's just incredible. Now, how close will you get to the sun?
We will get to within 4 million miles, and I know that doesn't sound terribly close, but if I put the Earth and the Sun apart on a football field, then we would be at the 4-yard line.
That's just amazing. Now, for you watching at home, that's kind of like traveling from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia in about 1 second. Just incredible speeds. Now, how can you be so close to the sun and not burn up?
So we have a wonderful heat shield, but we also, the technology, it's been 60 years since this mission was first thought of, and it's only now that technology has caught up with our dreams.
That's just amazing. Now, it looks like we're coming up to the moment of totality here on the prairie. What are some of the things we should be looking for?
So if it clears, you should see a beautiful corona, and that it looks like a pearly, hazy crown around the sun. And in fact, it's called a corona because that's Latin for crown. And then as it's going beautifully dark here, it's becoming twilight. You hear everyone going crazy here. You should be able to start seeing stars, and we can actually see 4 planets. This time you should see Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and Venus all in this night sky during the day. So it's just an amazing, amazing experience. And if you can't see the corona, I do have a map of it here. This is a 3D print that was done for me, and it looks exactly, it's a predict of what the corona looks like today. So if it's cloudy, here's your corona.
Now, it looks like the moment of totality is upon us. Let's just let the guys at home have a few moments to take in the sights and sounds of the crowd as totality happens on the prairie.
Oh, wow. And you can see the corona, and I may cry, but you can see the corona. So now you're seeing this wonderful hazy atmosphere. I don't need my glasses now, Vince, because we are in totality.
Wow.
And so this is the only time that it's safe to look. But right now you can see that hazy ring. That is the chromosphere. It is looking a little bit sort of reddish. And you just see there's all those red wisps are little prominences that are coming away from the sun.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we can't quite see the stars yet because of the clouds. But my goodness, you can see the corona, and that is an absolutely incredible, incredible sight.
This is just magnificent.
It really is. Everything's kind of, well, other than the people hooting and hollering here, everything else has gone quiet. The animals think it's nighttime. There's this amazing sort of twilight view all around us. And just look at that corona. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep, and the moon is going to continue. We've got about 2 minutes, 35 seconds of this amazing view. And then here we come. Here comes the diamond ring. So it is glasses on again time. Glasses on.
And here it comes, there's the diamond ring. And that is the most spectacular sight.
That's amazing.
That is just incredible. And of course, the diamond ring you see because the moon is not a totally smooth sphere, and so you're seeing little spots of light peeping out between the craters on the moon. And my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's hard to convey the excitement of the energy. There are 10,000 people on the prairie here at the Homestead National Monument of America, and the energy is just amazing.
And they've been here, a lot of them have been here since 6 o'clock this morning, and the atmosphere has been incredible. Everybody is happy, and it has just been amazing.
That's just amazing.
Wow.
Okay, Nikki, let's bring you over to this side. It looks like the moment of totality has passed us here.
Yes.
Now, what should we be watching for in the moments after totality?
In the moments after totality, you will start to see again the Bailey's bead. So we did see that diamond ring, and I got super excited. But as the moon continues now to pass away, you'll start to see the solar surface come back. It's becoming light again. If we had any roosters here, they would actually be crowing. So it's just been it's amazing, and you'll start to see the sun coming back. And I don't know, I always think what it would have been like if you didn't know the sun was going to come back. You just thought it was disappearing, but here comes the sun again. So it's a wonderful, wonderful day here on the prairie.
That's wonderful. Nikki, what an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for talking us through that.
I wouldn't be anywhere else, Vince. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What a great experience, everybody. That is amazing. Now, it looks like things are starting to calm down here on the prairie, but that doesn't mean the show is over. Our coverage of the path of totality continues across the entire path. So, let's go ahead and send it back to NASA's Eclipse Central.
Thank you, Vince. It was well worth the wait, my friend. We were a little delayed there, but my goodness. Jody, did you see that? I mean...
That was amazing. Do you see that diamond ring?
That was, it was even more prominent there.
It was very prominent. You could see like the ray of light, like very, very nice, and the whole diamond around the whole surface. It was amazing.
And Alex, it got really dark. I mean,
It really did. That's actually enjoyed seeing them out on that prairie and seeing. It looked like she was in some sort of weird, strange light, and she was lit up, and everything behind her was dark. It was really cool.
Fantastic. Nebraska, you rocking the house. We really, really appreciate that. But like Vince said, there's a lot more to come, and we got the International Space Station. Don't forget. So, Johnny, I want to go back. We had to bring in those images, but we were talking about, and you mentioned the stamp. Now, the United States Postal Service.
Hey Peggy, our decontamination protocol is complete, so you are going to start the MSG cleanup activity at your convenience. And then while I have you, the mini PCR cool down is complete as well, so you've got to go for the sample remove whenever you're ready. Okay, we'll probably wait.
Some pretty cool images. Still got some more to come.
Yeah.
The diamond has been prominent. Let's go over to social and see how things are going. John.
Thanks, Dwayne. We're continuing to look up here in Charleston, South Carolina, because there are some clouds here, and we're excited. Excitement we want to have here too as well. Just a couple quick interesting things. This is the biggest live stream event ever measured on NASA.gov. The web traffic is accounting for 87% of all federal web traffic, which is pretty amazing, showing that people are really, really tuning into our broadcast here. As of 1:40 p.m., 4.4 million people climbing or watching this broadcast. So the interest across the country is obvious here, and we're going to show you some amazing live views. This right here is, again, another photo of the space station taken by Bill Ingalls in Washington, one of our photographers here at NASA. Next thing, I have a video from another photographer, one of our other photographers, as the space station transits. You can see it there. If you're looking closely, you can see the space station transiting the sun during the partial eclipse. Pretty spectacular. Again, that's 250 miles per hour, that space station. And you have to be, 250 miles above the Earth, 17,500 miles per hour. You have to be taking a lot of different shots pretty fast to capture that. So, nice job, Joel.
Okay, so let's Let's go to Jefferson City. The moon shadow is continuing to pass over the United States in this remarkable celestial event. Our next stop on the path, as I said, of totality is Jefferson City, Missouri. We're going to hand off to meteorologist Eric Aldrich, who is a professor in atmospheric science at the University of Missouri. He has some special guests to help explain two important impacts solar activity can have on humans and the technologies we use. Over to you, Eric.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, we are live in Jefferson City, Missouri. Jefferson City is actually the state capital, and as you can see behind me, there's a lot of people that are here. It's been a whole weekend type of thing. Saturday, Sunday, and of course here on Monday, lots of family-friendly...